Yo, what is up everybody, Akame showing on here, and here today we're going to be discussing my top 10 characters that I feel like should be within the Dragon Ball franchise for the new coming game of Dragon Ball Fighterz. Let's hop into it. So coming at number 10, this may sound as a really funny joke, guys, but I really think Yajirobe should have an appearance in this game. Now, the thing about this is that I feel like Yajirobe, they shouldn't make him an easy player, kind of like how Goku, Vegeta, and Adult Gohan are in the beta, but I feel like they should make Yajirobe a special character where they should make him be a little bit more complicated to use, knowing that he hasn't had much battlefield experience in a really long time. But at the same time, I feel like Yajirobe is very underrated, and I feel like this is a kind of game where you could probably bring back some old characters from back in the day, Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball, and all the way up to Dragon Ball Z to Super. And Yajirobe, I think, would make a pretty good appearance in this game if he were to ever be attempted to even have a chance to be in the game. But most likely, I don't think he's going to be in there, but it would be nice to see some old characters that were, at one point, warriors in the game. Let's hop on to number 9. So at number 9, we have Android 17. Now, I know that Android 18 is a playable character, and Android 17 can be used as a support unit within the character if you use the correct inputs, but I feel like it's not really the same. I feel like maybe what they can do is they could add 17 and then 18 could be like the support kind of unit character, like how Android 18 is, and she could summon out 17 if necessary. I feel like the same could be switched, so 17 could easily summon out 18. It just doesn't feel right to leave out the siblings of the androids. It, to me personally, doesn't seem fair. So at number 8, we have everybody's favorite Saiyan, Bardock. Now with the Saiyan Bardock, he supposedly, from what I heard, he's not going to be in Dragon Ball Fighterz, and that's kind of disappointing. But it would be pretty cool if he were to be able to be in here, because Bardock is that Saiyan that everybody enjoys to use, either for their lust for the thrive and feeling of like being Bardock, feel like this badass like attitude. And personally, Bardock was one of my favorite Saiyans, and I only would like to have him in the game only because he's been in so many other Dragon Ball franchise like games, and it would feel kind of a shame to just all of a sudden just throw him under the bus like that. So at number 7, we have Kefla. Now, Kefla is this character who is the fused might of Kale and Khalifa of Universe 6 Saiyans. And based on the Tournament of Power, she was this unbelievably powerful character who even surpassed Super Saiyan God, and was proved from Akira Toriyama himself that even Goku at Super Saiyan Blue was no match for Kefla. And personally, I feel like she could make an appearance in the game, though I don't expect her to make an immediate appearance once when the game is leaked. I could see her maybe being in a DLC pack, but anything else besides that, I really feel like she should really belong in the game. I feel like it's the time where you could bring in other universes. Hit is in the game, so why not bring some other universe characters within the game as well? So at number 6, we have Khalifa. Now, Khalifa is this female Saiyan prodigy who is kind of similar to Goku in a certain aspect of fighting, but isn't necessarily the same kind of individual. She's a female with a lot of potential to grow. She already reached the power of Super Saiyan 2, and is looking to strive even further. She's kind of like maybe more of a Vegeta. She strives to be the best as fast as she possibly can to get to have her rematch with certain people and etc. But Khalifa is this project kind of like Super Saiyan who is also a very caring friend to one of her own, but she is kind of like the punk kind of like character, and I feel like they can make her a playable character knowing that this is Fighterz, and knowing her personality and how she fights. Even we stated that she's a Street Fighter kind of like person. She doesn't really understand the means of martial arts itself, and she mostly goes with her fist out first. So it's kind of interesting to see what a street fighting style kind of like character would do in a game like this. At number 5 we have Kale. Now this is pretty obvious since this is almost going in somewhat of an order. Kale, personally, to be more specific, her Super Saiyan form should be allowed in the game. Now, the only reason why I'm not saying her normal form is because, think of it this way. Think of Kale as a Pan in the base form, and she does nothing but whine to a certain admired person. And once she transforms, apparently, she's this badass Saiyan who is supposed to be the reincarnation of technically Broly. And I think that's the only way we can make Kale a playable character is if she's within the transformation, because we don't really know what she's like as a normal regular Saiyan when she's in combat. But however, when she transforms, ooh boy, it's another story. This is actually a pretty interesting character to bring up since that he is from the past and he is from the Majin Buu arc. He was personally one of my favorite demons, knowing how he developed. So here we are with Devorah. Devorah is this character with a lot of power and a sword, like a devil-like sword, and I could see being in the game. It would be pretty interesting to have him in the game. They have Trunks in the game, he's most likely going to have some sword techniques, so I could see Devorah possibly being a potentially elite character within the game as well. His characteristics as once an antagonist to now an anti-antagonist is pretty interesting to know about him, so maybe he'll make a good appearance in the game. So at number 3, I'm sure a lot of people want to see this guy. This guy is a really huge and powerhouse within a lot of Dragon Ball franchise video games, Ginetta. Now, Ginetta is this demon-like hell character that was accidentally formed by one of the co-workers of King Yama's employees, and he just forms into this character who demolishes the crap out of everything around him. The character could cut through dimensions. I could see maybe in the game he could do like a grab where he cuts through the dimensions and grabs you from behind and possibly slices you from the back or something like that. But I could definitely see Ginetta being a potentially elite character, knowing the popularity of what that character holds. So at number 2, we got one of my favorite villains. Now, this is a filler-based character, so it's most likely not going to be introduced within Fighterz, but you never know. They always do random stuff to make us happy. So here we are with number 2, Cooler. Now, Cooler, as this individual, I could see him being almost like a Frieza kind of character, but a little bit, I could see a little bit maybe buffed or debuffed. Only because, based on experience alone in the open beta, Frieza is actually really, really insanely good. Okay, he could easily maneuver different techniques, and you can't touch the man, alright? He's almost like Beerus, but a little bit weaker than Beerus, if you get what I mean. But for Cooler's aspect, I feel like they should make him a little bit buff with a certain attribute compared to Frieza. Since they are siblings, they should have one advantage over another with certain techniques. So maybe seeing some Death Ray or Death Beam being like maybe 3 different beams at once in different angles Now, what I mean by different angles, I don't mean like up, middle, side. That would be kind of OP within the game. But I mean kind of like he could shoot maybe one beam, one pause, one beam, another, and then there. But anything else besides that, I would like to see cooler. He's a pretty interesting character, and he's pretty popular within the fan base too. Now let's go on to the final and last option. So coming at number 1, everybody wants to see this character knowing that she's in the story, but yet for some odd reason, the game developers decide, hey, guess what? We're not going to make her playable, even though the fact she's in the game. So, shut the fuck up, okay? Listen up. Android 21, how are you going to make a character who's the main focus of the story in the game, but not make her playable? That's like back in the day, DragonBall Budokai, where the Ginyu Force was introduced, but only certain characters within the Ginyu Force were only playable. How does that work, people? I don't understand that. They should really decide on what a lot of people want to see, alright? Personally, if you have that person in the game, they should be played in the game as well, okay? Not some crap where it's like, okay, well guess what? You could play one story mode with this character, but never play her in free battle or nor online. That kind of makes no sense to me, because that's like saying, you just want to tease us, okay? You just want to tease us. It's unfair, and well, I feel trolled, okay? I just feel trolled, okay? Android 21 needs to be a playable character. There's no doubt in my mind, am I ever going to forget this, alright? Android 21 needs to be playable. I don't know how she's gonna be used, but I just know if it's a main protagonist within the story, they need to be introduced as a playable character in all realms. Free battle, online, story mode, you name it. That's it, people. Hope you guys enjoyed, and see you in the next video.